Hi everybody, this is Christina at Scrapcraft and Stitchery, and today I am working on the hashtag 50 Stack Challenge 7 hosted by Amy at Crafty Cat. And today I am working on prompts 17 photograph and 18 gesso. And I fell a little bit behind, as you can see. So I'm going to just get caught up this week. So by the end of this week, I should be on the current week. So for photograph, I had just printed out this this is a family picture of my father's mother's family. These guys are fantastic. So this is my grandmother when she was a child and her parents. And I'm going to use that on my journal card. So I make journal cards for the 50 stack challenge. And they're 4x6 cards, and I'm collecting them all, and I'll show them to you here in a second. But first, I want to show you another picture since we're talking about old family photographs. Since I'm talking about old family photographs anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. I just did this in my visual journal, and you're gonna get like a full flip through here if you keep watching, so enjoy that. This is my own personal scrapbook, diary, whatever, place to stick things, and I found this picture on Facebook the other day and printed it out. And this is my dad in August of 1970 on the family farm in North Dakota, and he had joined the Navy, and he went to boot camp, and he was stopping on his way through to go to nuclear prototype school in Idaho Falls, which is where he met my mom. So the picture was like from before he met my mom, and then they met in Idaho Falls and got married. So anyway, that's just a cool picture of my dad, and I was super excited to find it. I did that page. It was a prompt thing. I'm in the Ginger Cat Lady, who has a channel on YouTube. Her name is Pam, and she's fantastic. And she does a club if you join. She has a membership thing, and I'm in her membership. And that page was actually a part of the members only club, and she gives you prompts, and the prompts were brown, yellow, cardstock, photograph, and something else that I can't remember. Oh, embossing. So there's some stamped embossing on there. Actually with a stamp that I'm going to use on the next set of cards, I guess. Okay, so these are my 4x6 cards, and I am making a stack of 4x50 4x6 cards. And you know, those are the last two, and these are all of the ones that I've made so far. So this is like what, 1 through 16, and that was a sticker. And this is ripped, and I made a little book that's got a little 1 page in there. So these are all journal cards. The first one they did were like really elaborate, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit simpler as I go along. I just got busy. But this is Green Tree, and that's like 3 cards together, and it flips out. It's really pretty. I like that one. This is Lace. It's got a pocket on the front that has this little book in it. And then it's got this other little notebook, which doesn't come out now, and I've got to kind of fix that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I don't know. But it's got a place you could journal on the back of this. You could put something down. It's got that frame, and you can slide a quote or a picture or something in there. It'll be fun. This is postage stamp, and these two always like to stick together. I don't know what it is about this. They're not really stuck. They just, I don't know, slightly stick So that was postage stamp, and that's a cool card. And this is flower, and you can get these flowers as fussy cuts. I made them and I put them on my Ko-fi shop. You can find the link below. There's not a whole lot in there. But I should write some more notes. I do a blog in there, or a written blog about journaling, and I should do another one to kind of keep track of what I'm doing. It'd be good for me to sit down, I think, and think my way through what I'm doing again. This is ledger paper and grunge, and these two were from 1 week, and I kind of did them together, so they are very similar. Sometimes I do something that's completely different, and sometimes I do something that is really, really the same. It's really interesting that these are grouped together like that. That was tissue paper and the gnomes. I was playing with gnomes for this entire week I was working on this. This is label, so there is a very distinct label on there with a little mushroom. This is kind of a bonus art card. For cracked, I had this idea. It just made me think of the crack on the wall in the Doctor Who episode, where there's the crack on Amy Pond's wall, and then there's a couple other episodes of that. So there's that. I know you've probably, if you watch my channel, you've seen these cards before. This is the actual crack where I did, that reminds me every time that I want to try and do some more work with that, because it's a really cool technique. Modeling paste, and you can make drawings into it. I think you want to use something thinner than like a skewer than I used for that crack. And this is wallpaper, and it has not, it just has a pouch on the back for a pocket, so you can add things. I love how this one came out. This was stamp. And as you can see, I just stamped the same stamp on 2 different things, but it's like got different frames inside it, and I cut all the different frames out. And I embossed one, and I just used a Versamark on the other page. This is paint splatter, and this is a very different tone for this one. Obviously, it's got what was I doing? Jelly printing onto deli paper, and I just love the depth that that gives on that jelly print. And then I added some paints and some paint splatter onto it and some fun, bright, vibrant colors, so it looks kind of like graffiti. It's very urban. Oh dear, I am gone. Sorry, I'm doing the voiceover because I have a minute of quiet, but I didn't really edit this very well. I usually cut those parts out. Yeah, that is, oh, I know what it was. I forgot. I always forget that that's paint splatter. So I went to go and find out. This is wreath, and this is all, I pieced this together from punches that anyway, what I learned is to ink your paper and then punch. And this is gold, and so it's got gold paint around the edges and gold embossing on there that's stamped on there, and then gold embossed for a stamp in the background. So pretty. This card is just so pretty. And then I use the distress inks to stamp on the back and give kind of a faint stamped pattern. So that's where I'm at, and now I'm ready to do photograph. And I love this photo. It's so pretty. And it's my family, so I mean, it's just very, very special to me. So, I originally thought I got this really dark kind of brown burgundy color, and I was originally thinking like black and white, like to go with the picture and keep everything in black and white. But then I found this paper that I purchased recently, and I haven't used it for anything, and I just thought it would be really, really fun to pair that with this picture. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a background out of this really bright, spectacular paper, and then add a little bit of text, and that's a plan. And then I'll have to figure out what we're gonna do for the other prompt, which is gesso. These cards both came out absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to show you. So I've cut down that background paper that I was going to use for this, and now I'm just inking the edges in black. And I cut this so it's a little bit, I think it's like a ½ an inch actually, smaller than my card. So this will be 3.5 by 5.5 inches. So it leaves a little bit of a border on my background card. I'm just doing layers here. So I am inking that, and I'm going to ink around this photograph too. I think I have vintage photo out, but I think I'm actually inking in black here, which is off screen. I kind of went back and forth on whether to use the brown or the black ink, and I decided the photograph would look better with black, so I went ahead and used black. And oh, Cat, she thinks my daubers are toys. They do. The Nova Emberwild and Bertacroot both think that my daubers are toys, and they have started to disappear because they just get knocked around and wind up underneath, like, you know, my organizers and things here. It's a problem. Anyway, so what I wound up finding was this book page to pair with this and kind of help break this up a little bit. Just a little bit. And I picked this is like a table of contents for a book of essayists or famous people in the literature and arts, I think. I'm not really sure at this point what this is. I've been using up these book pages forever, but this is like part of the table of contents. And I chose this because this particular list, because my family's last name is Wax, and so this is where we would have fallen alphabetically in here. So that was, I think, a kind of a nice little touch for this. And I'm, I think, looking at this list, trying to decide where to tear it. I think as I'm watching this, I must have been feeling very indecisive as I was doing this. Anyway, I also really liked the numbers, the page numbers that were running along here. So I tore those out in a strip, and I'm going to adhere them onto the back of the card for the journaling, for the back of the journaling card. I thought that they made kind of a cool little interesting border. And I just didn't want as much white space on there, although I think a lot of this gets covered up. We shall see. And we're going to ink this, of course, and then just lay it down over the back of this. This was a really cool one for me because my family this is like the part of my family that is really active. I guess that's why we have all of these pictures and stuff, because my family has this particular branch of my father's family is very active. They have a big Facebook group, and they have a family reunion every year. And so these are the people that I know. And it was it's an extraordinarily large family that we have, because they had 11 children who then have many children who've had many children. And we just have so much fun. The last time we went to Sarasota, Florida. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I haven't been back. I should probably, I don't know if anybody's hosting this year or not, and by 2026 I should have everybody come here, and that'd be easy for me, right? But yeah, it's great, and they're wonderful, and that's how I got this picture, honestly. I mean, I just downloaded it off of Facebook, and it's very, very cool that they keep track of all this so that I can have this wonderful card that's very personal. I also have all of these kids later, probably in the 70s, and I have no idea when this picture would have been taken. I should go look it up. But I have when these kids have all grown up and had their children and they got back together, and I have a picture of all of them with their spouses, and that's very cool. That was probably in the 70s, I'm guessing. Maybe the 80s. Probably the 80s. Just very, very cool. And what says photograph that better than some photo corners? So I'm just inking these paper photo corners so that they will match a little bit better. I like having these white ones because I can ink them into any color I want, instead of just having black ones, which would be really just black. Although I have to say, I usually probably should just get some black ones, because I do almost always ink them to black. I don't think I ever really use them as white. But like I said, I mean, better to buy the white ones and have them. It's also just very nostalgic to use the photo corners, because I remember my grandma had a photo album, and that was like the first place I would have ever seen them. Was she had a photo album and all the pictures were like attached with like photo corners. Very, very cool. I don't know where that book might be now. I'm sure probably my Aunt Dorita has it, if I had to hazard a guess where that went. So, a cool story is, I guess I probably already told this story on one of my other videos. So, my dad's family, they had 7 children, and they named them in alphabetical order. So my dad's name is Alvin, and his sister's name is Beverly, and then Uncle Curtis, Aunt Dorita, Aunt Edith, who died when she was a baby, so I never knew her, but I know she was there because I know the E. I know who the E is, and Aunt Fenella, who's fantastic, and you should meet her. She's lovely. And Uncle Jerry, who's the baby. And that's how I remember them, is that, I mean, all 7 of them I can remember because they named them in alphabetical order. How wild is that? I guess I would probably remember them even if they weren't named alphabetically. I mean, I somehow managed to remember, you know, my aunts and uncles on my mother's side of the family. Um, and I have 2 aunts and 2 uncles, so I suppose I can probably just remember. I'm really interested to see what other people did for photograph. Um, I should endeavor to find some time to go look at these at some time this week. Remind me to do that. I have been so busy, and in October I just went crazy working on this other project, and just completely lost track of time. So I have not been able to keep up with any of the other challenges. So um, I'm gonna make it a point to have a little bit quieter of a just slightly quiet, peaceful November. Yes. Oh, I guess that's when the holidays start and my son is coming, so I suppose that last week of October was crazy. It was crazy. Um, we had a lot going on, and it was Halloween, which is a big deal, but my partner, it was his birthday weekend, and we were gonna go up to the lake, and we didn't go up to the lake, and we wound up having a party at our house, and that was a surprise, which was wonderful. It was just his family, so it wasn't, but it was kind of, like I said, I mean, kind of a surprise there. He wanted to have everybody come over here, which we did. And yes, and I had this big YouTube project going on and doing the haunted sketchbook, which was very time consuming. So once the party was over, everything kind of quieted down, and we decided to stay home, which was okay by me because I just wanted to have a quiet weekend at home and take a little bit of time off. So that was absolutely wonderful once all the dust had settled. And now I'm back to my regular YouTube posting schedule. So I post videos on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I kind of have a plan for those, but it's also just kind of like I post on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, or and Saturday, and I do try to do hashtag Flip Through Friday, which is hosted by Gwen the Trash Witch, and I haven't done one in a while because I just haven't been able to get one together. I think I tried to do one, so hopefully maybe I'll try and do that this week. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm trying to get focused on getting caught up with the 50 stack challenge because I'm really super excited about building this stack of 50 journal cards. I don't know why that's so important to me. So the 50 stack challenge, you can do any kind of ephemera that you want, and I don't suppose that Amy's gonna really ding you if you change your ephemera every week, but I just decided to do 50 journal cards, and these are 4x6 cards, and each one kind of is coming out as if it was a little tiny piece of artwork all on its own, and I just really love this. You can see I pulled out some stickers because I needed to do something with that card, and my partner came and looked at this, and he plays Magic, and he's like, oh, you're turning your 50 stack into Magic cards, and so he was amused because it does look a lot like a Magic card. the way that the borders are, and they have a picture if you're familiar with magic cards at all. And then the description box down below with the picture up above on the border. This is very much like a magic card. Anyway, I am having a great time just building this stack of 50 journal cards, and each one is kind of a little bit of a piece of work of art, and I think it'll be great. And I like journaling in my journal. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these once I have them, honestly. As it goes along, I'm like, oh, these could turn into like a whole journal, right? So is what I'm thinking is you can see how many items I've gotten out. And I was thinking it would be cool to kind of do a spin-off ephemera. For each one, you could make a paper clip and or a cluster or something small and easy. That's what I really wanted to do. When I first started, I always think, okay, I get an idea, like I'm going to do the 50 stack challenge, and the first thing I think is like, oh, I'm going to do something really easy. I'm just going to do a cluster for every one of these. How easy would that be? And I'll just have like a, little container full of clusters, and they'll all be kind of different. Then I was like, oh, well, I need journal cards because I have this like beautiful visual journal and I love to write in it. So it's kind of like where I write, and I mean, it's my journal and I write things in there. But I also like to take things off of my desk and just stick them in there if I've like got scraps and things. And or if I am fussy cutting stuff just for no particular reason, it's kind of a place. And the idea is to just do a little bit of work in there, preferably every day. A lot of the time I'm busy. So much of what I do is just like creative stuff. And yes, so, but I like that because it kind of is a book that writes itself, because I'll be doing something and I'll have a quote, and maybe I've printed 2 quotes and I'm not sure which one I want to use. And so one of them I'll stick in my book, in my visual journal, right? And it kind of becomes this cool place. But then I can come back to that quote later and be like, oh, well, I'm going to write about it now. And it kind of gives these prompts for what I'm going to write about, or it can. It doesn't always. But sometimes it's something I want to like think about a little bit more or write about a little bit. So that's really cool, and that is actually kind of from doing that, I thought that that's why I wanted to make journal cards. So now I'm off on this thing of making all these journal cards, and now I'm thinking the journal cards could become their own journals. And they really could. I don't know. But for right now, I'm going to collect all my 50 stack, and I'm going to make a collection out of my 50 stack 7. This is the first time I've done this, so that's what I've decided to do, and I like the idea of that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, oh, well, I should make some other little pieces of ephemera and stuff, because I think it would be a good way to use up the things that are on my desk, and then I don't have to, like, that's my mind. It's saying, oh, instead of cleaning up, why don't you just make more ephemera? Which always means that my desk just gets messier. I know that doesn't work as a thing, but that's what I want to think is going to work, right? Let's see. Where am I? Oh, so I wrote Wax Family on here using some stickers. This is fantastic. I love making these because I really just think about, what do I have in my stash that I could use? And then while I have it out, why don't I make a cluster? Which I'm going to really start doing. I think that's a great idea. Anyway, so I got this graph paper out, and I tore it out of a notebook, and it's still got, I like to leave the little like tabs on the top because I think that they're just really super interesting. and I'm inking it, and on this I am going to use my vintage photo. And just going to glue that down. And this card is basically done. It came out so pretty. I mean, the photograph is just gorgeous. And I love this like dark, deep burgundy paper. It's just so pretty. So we'll glue this down. And these are the page numbers from that table of contents, and they were just too good to not use. I don't know. There's something about this. I love the font, or just that list of numbers is just very appealing to me. So I'll stick that down too. And then I think this card is done, and I'm going to be all ready to start the next card. What do you guys think? This is great. Yeah, October was so much fun, but I am so ready to go back to kind of a regular posting schedule. I actually made dinner tonight, and I made chicken and some baked sweet potatoes and green beans, and I have not cooked dinner in forever because I just didn't have time, because I got carried away. I'm very, very fortunate, honestly, to be able to just throw everything aside and chase my creative ideas down. But I also find, I mean, cooking is a very creative outlet for me too. And for years and years and years while I was raising my kids, it was kind of really my only creative outlet, I guess. But I cooked almost every single night when the kids were little, and it was really fabulous. I mean, for me, because I do some pretty, honestly, extravagant kind of meals. And now I am going to check my list here and see what is the next prompt. And it is gesso. And wait till you see. So I love black gesso. It is just, it's so cool. So I have this map scrapbooking paper, and I cut this up to use for this challenge. I cut my 50 cards out to begin with, and then I figured I would just find something, and then I remembered I had a whole bunch of other things cut up already, but so I switch these out whenever I really want to. But I try and look through there and use the ones that I already have. And then I had like a whole bunch of scrapbook paper that came in kits that I was buying for a long time from Club Scrap. and they, a lot of the time, or I bought more paper that was like in a 4x6, like for framing pictures and matting pictures. And so I have so many 4x6 cards is actually what I remembered. Anyway, so I picked this one because I liked the colors and I thought it would be fun. And I bought this like 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper, and I have like a pack of 25 of this exact same map or something. I don't know, it's a lot. So hey, I am super happy because I am using up things that I've collected, which is a really great and satisfying feeling. So yeah, I honestly, I think that I kind of freaked out about how dark and how deep and how much coverage this black gesso has. And it is fantastic. And again, like, I love it so much. And it's totally opaque and it just covers everything. So I am trying to see if I can get, if it's still wet enough, if I can get some of it to come up. And I can't. And it works out for the best here. You know, with white gesso, it doesn't really cover. It's more like white gesso, or the white gesso that I've used in the past, it doesn't have, it's not as opaque as this black is, and it just kind of really prepares your surface. So if you put it on top of something like this, it kind of pushes it back, but you can still see through it, but the black really just kind of like covers it, which I think is really cool. And eventually I think it comes out really well because it's just, the black is so black. So anyway, I pulled out this stencil, and since I had a map underneath, I picked this stencil that I have from Stencil Girl Products, and because it had kind of a map feel, this image that I'm doing now reminded me kind of sort of a compass rose. It's not exactly, but it reminds me of that, and that's why I picked this, is because I thought these were just kind of fun map suggestions of map symbols. And I'm just using some white paint to stencil this on with a relatively stiff brush. I couldn't find my like stencil brush, so I grabbed this instead. This is kind of a fun stencil. It has so many different things in such a small little space. Yes. So, you know, over the weekend, while I was staying at home, I did do a lot of like art journaling and things just for fun and not to make a video, so that was kind of really nice for me and relaxing. You can see over there that I was doing some jelly printing, and I did not clean up my stuff, and I should have, because now I'm kind of sort of out of room on my desk, and I'm gonna go do this as soon as I'm done doing this voiceover. And So this card is really starting to come together. So you can see how you have the like map beneath, and then you have these like really dark places where the gesso is, and it's kind of like, it gives it a lot of dimension because it's got the color underneath but then the black on top, and so these all start to look like these other layers. And then you add the stenciling. So what I was thinking here is I have a whole bunch of like magazine images that I've saved and collected, and I found them the other day and I wanted to use some of them up, and I was thinking I was going to use them here. That's not what I wound up doing though. Interestingly, I didn't use the magazine clippings, which I think would have been fun to do. But instead I decided to use my antiquarian Imaginarium sticker book, and I had used this last time on when I did gold, and so I decided to use that same sticker book to make those, or to add images to the top of this. So I'm just kind of filling in here so that a lot of the black is kind of covered up, and or filling in some of this black so that it has an added dimension to it. And at some point I got an X and put it on the map. We'll see if we keep it or we cover it up. But I thought that was kind of a fun touch for the X marks the spot on the map, in case there's treasure there in China. There is now. We have made sure that there is treasure in China. Okay, so I really like that for the most part. I think that some of that I had too much paint. But that is looking good for gesso. So what is next? And again, like I said, I was originally thinking I wanted to do use up some of my, well, I'm using up some of my stash, and I was going to use up some magazine images, but instead I decided to stick with my sticker book. I had actually just completed the previous prompt for gold, where I used this sticker book, so I was kind of still floating around on my desk. And that is honestly a huge part of my process, is just going from thing to thing and using the supplies that are already there. So, of course I went back into this sticker book because I have like all three of these Imaginarium sticker books, and it's a lot of stickers, and I don't always use them, but when I do use them, I think I use them a lot. So I think I was finding these round stickers in here, and well, I got the cats. I got the cats first because I live with 4 cats, and I just apparently really like cats. So I thought that they should go on here, and I think I put them on there to make a division between that black gesso area and the map area. And why not? Let's get some butterflies going on. Very good. Cats and butterflies. And I will find some more butterflies, but I think I really liked these circles because I already had this stencil going on with this. This stencil has that circle shape, and so I think I decided that continuing along with that circle shape kind of in the foreground of this and as a more focal point. I mean, I'm just doing a random kind of collage too, and whatever feels right and whatever appeals to me. I think I was just feeling kind of indecisive today, more so than usual. So I don't know. But I did like how these circles kind of play off of the circles in the background with the stencil. So I thought that was really kind of fun. And I'm just kind of filling in visually where I feel like they can maybe go and letting things overlap and making a little collage here. At this point, I think we have a direction. And the thing with this is just kind of playing it by eye. I like doing, I mean, for design, it's always appealing to see odd numbers of things. So 3 circles, 3 butterflies. There we go. Looks good to me. And now this is really starting to come together. I really like the way that the colors in these stickers go with this this map, the colors in the map. I've actually used these sticker books with this map before because I had all of these, I cut up 1 or 2 sheets of this map because, like I said, I have a whole bunch of it, and I don't know, whatever I bought it for, I had it from a long time ago when I was scrapbooking, and I thought that I would use it, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I got it after that. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was on sale. Anyway, and I just grabbed it. But I have a whole bunch of sheets of this, kind of a lot, and anyway, but I love the way that the colors in this map go with the sticker colors in the sticker collection. I think that they just really kind of play well off of each other. So there's that, and so I'm really, really pleased with this. So I just pulled out my Stabilo All, and I kind of want to blend these stickers into the paper a little bit more. Unfortunately, it makes the cats kind of disappear. I guess I could go back and put a little bit of white or something around them at this point. Anyway, just filling in the white spots. I think I did go a little bit overboard on this butterfly up on top, and maybe it would have been better to have just left it with the white border. Maybe. Who knows? That top butterfly does kind of disappear into the background eventually. It's always interesting to watch this again while I do the voiceover, especially. It's one thing to see it while I'm editing because I don't always listen or pay that close of attention. But when I do the voiceover, especially like this, I'm just really, it gives me a chance to like really look at this and really look at it again. Sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes I'll find like, oh, why did I do that? I could have done this other thing, you know? But live and learn. Live and learn, and I am learning as I'm watching this, and I think that honestly and truly, I think that some of these probably were better off without the black gesso, but I've also done pieces in the past where I have been very much of the where I was reluctant to do the Stabilo pencil, but sometimes where I'm like not really sure if I want to do this Stabilo pencil, and then I do it and I've been really, really happy. And in this case, I don't know. I think it was a little bit too much. What else could we have done? If we're gonna go sit here and second guess ourselves. I mean, I think it had to have been black. I guess I have a watercolor pencil, and I could have tried the watercolor pencil. The Stabilo is like really super strong. It just really blooms and it bleeds a lot, and so I think the watercolor pencil that I have is not, it wouldn't put down as much pigment and it wouldn't go out as much, so it'll be a little bit easier to control during this stage. But also, I don't know, it might, sometimes it doesn't like to go on as easily, so there's that too. And overall, I'm gonna say this isn't that bad. It does help blend those edges in. It's just some of the features, like the cats, kind of really now, even in person, are kind of a little bit hard to see. And that top butterfly I wish wasn't quite so dark. But I guess I could go back in with some white and go around it and edge it in a white gel pen, and that kind of might help things out. Or just add some highlights. And it might help kind of tie it in again to the white. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about all this, because I'm probably not going to do any of this. I'm probably going to leave it pretty much the way that it is. I think I'm just going to continue to bloom this out. I might speed this part up so that this video was very long, because I didn't speed it up at all. I decided to let you just see the whole process. I wanted to kind of seal all this in, and I would often do this. I have some Liquitex gel varnish, which gives a really nice shiny look to this, but because the prompt is gesso, I am using clear gesso. So I've used black now and clear gesso, and I just kind of want to put this on the top of this. Normally I would put this on if I was like going to prepare this for putting on another layer or something of that nature. The clear gesso is nice, and I like the varnish because it's it gives it a little bit of like a shiny bit, but I think that this actually comes out really nicely because it gives it this very matte look. So if that's what you want, that's good. And this is just going to kind of seal all of these different parts down. And I made sure before I put this on that I had activated and moved and all of that Stabilo pencil, because if you don't do that and there's still Stabilo on there that's unactivated, will get it wet and it will make big smears everywhere. So don't do that. But I added the clear gesso after I had activated the Stabilo. I could have also done this the opposite and done the Stabilo done the clear gesso over the stickers and then added the Stabilo. I do think that this will kind of keep that Stabilo from like rubbing off later, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. I really like how this came out. I really like all these layers, and I like that it's kind of matte. It looks very kind of artistic to me. Kind of a very artistic collage. Really, really love how this came out. I think it's very interesting to look at. Kind of dark and gothic too, with the black. So I'm just gonna add one of these words to this. Like I said, it's kind of a little work of art all by itself. I really like making these little journal cards. I think they'll be fun to use in a journal, but they're all so different, and they're really fun to like flip through the stack. And I'm having a really great time using up like different items in my stash. I don't know, like I've used up like stickers that I haven't used in like, a long time, more than years, probably decades. I've had some of these things. I've probably had some of these things for 20 years. And so I'm like using up stickers, and the sticker books I've definitely only had for a couple of years. So there's that. But great. And it's just been really a lot of fun to make all these different little cards, because they are all so different. Like, what was this? This was gesso and photograph. So I just finished. Sorry, I've been doing like a whole bunch of these in a row. But it's really fun to do. It's just like each one's like a little collage, and they're all different. And sometimes I'll do two that are very traditional and very vintage, and sometimes I'll do one that's like very vintage, and then one that's not, that's very modern. And so it's really, really fun. And sometimes, I mean, it's just this whole spectrum of, and I'll sit down and I'll do both of them. Like, I usually do both of these like one right after the other. And yeah, it's just really cool how differently they come out, and to have just this little canvas to work on. Just little tiny canvases. I like my little stack. What should I do with these? What do you guys think? I mean, I kind of, once I have like all 50, then I could like put them all into a book and just make a pocket and tuck them in, and some of them could be like flip outs. That could be kind of fun. That would be a fun journal. I don't know. I haven't decided. It's what I was thinking, is I would just like stick them in or give them away, or put them in journals as I go along. But I definitely, I guess, could use some of them as like an idea book. And like in the case of, well, I don't know. Like, I have all these sticker books, right? And so it's just an idea of like how I could use those more, because I don't. There's just a lot of my supplies that like maybe I don't think about and I don't use. So this is almost like using this, and I flip through it at the beginning and it kind of like jogs my memory, so I come back to things more. Super cool. Super cool. I always feel like I too need to make my own focal point somehow, whether it's, I don't know, doing like a drawing or something. And so it's been very satisfying to like use the stickers to do a collage, or to add them to a collage or something. It's just been really a lot of fun doing these, because each one I have to like think of like a different thing to do, and sometimes I think of like a different thing to do for each one, and sometimes I kind of do the same thing for both cards. So it's really kind of fun, especially when I go, now that I have, where are we at? This is, yes, so this is 17 and 18, so I have the first 16 cards, and it's fun to look at them as pairs of cards for each week that I've done it, because I do kind of tend to group them, and sometimes I'm like, I approach each one kind of different, just very slightly differently, you know, like sometimes I'll go back and repeat something that I did a couple of weeks ago. Like on this one last week, I really liked the gold card where I used one of these stickers as the focal point, and so I thought it would be fun to kind of continue that. And I actually had just done this card, the gold card, because so it's not like it was a whole week ago. It was like a couple of hours ago. Anyway, that I had finished that, and then I just finished these three. So it's not so surprising that this one is going back into the same sticker book, but I could have done something very different. But I was having fun playing with the stickers. I could do a whole journal. I'm just throwing ideas out there now and thinking out loud. But I could probably make a whole journal just using the sticker book to make ephemera for it. That would be kind of fun. Instead of trying to spread it a little bit out into all of my journals, which I would still have to do. An antiquarian sticker themed book. Also, seems like it would be a little bit odd. Why? Because these are weird stickers. I mean, there's just this bird man. This is a man dressed as like some sort of priest, I guess. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he's some sort of a druid, and he's just, it's a bird man. This is a bird man. That's weird. It's very kind of odd. So I'm just finishing up the back of this so I can use it as a journal card. And I have added a piece of graph paper and a couple more stickers, just grabbing stickers randomly based on whatever I wanted. I do like that there's a little bit of black gesso on the top of this card on the left. I think I just love black gesso. Oh my gosh, it's so nice and smooth and creamy. and it just gives such great coverage, and I like it. It's just really, really a cool medium to work with. So when I heard gesso, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to do some black gesso. We're going to play with this. And I love the way this card came out. It just looks great. Looks absolutely fabulous. Yes, so there's even just a little bit in the corner, and I'm going on and on and on about it, right? Very cool, very fun. So I'm just going to bloom out this Stabilo all pen, and this is done. And with got a weird bird sticker. I don't know. Has anybody made a journal with the antiquarian sticker books? It's just like an antiquarian journal. Because you could even take out all of the stickers and use the book as the journal cover. I like this idea. The more and more I think about it, I'm going to write it down in my idea book. I don't know. I did see where somebody had used up all the stickers in their book, and they were using that to make a journal. I did see that, but I never saw what happened to all the stickers, and I was very impressed that they had used up all those stickers, because it's not a thing that I remember that I have very often. So that was cool. I kind of liked that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing these me make these journal cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my card for gesso, using black and clear gesso and some stickers to make a cool, and stencils to make a cool collage. And then of course I have the other card, which was photograph. Anyway, super cool and fun cards. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check out hashtag 50 Stack Challenge 7 to see what everybody else is creating. Check out Amy's channel, Crafty Cat. I will link it down below for you to check out and see what she's doing, because she does a lot of really cool and fun videos too. So thank you so much, Amy, for hosting the challenge, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.